I'm live already. Hello and welcome to WTF, Wholesome Twin Flame Coaching. My name is Dr. Ronja Vieth and I will be your host. Some of you know me already. Thank you for returning. I hope that last week's episode was helpful. We talked about allowing our emotions and under the topic of conflicting emotions in a twin flame relationship, and that it is important to actually start to acknowledge your emotions, regardless of what they are. And I'd like to get into the different vibrations of various emotions at some point. There's a wonderful list that Abraham Hicks came up with, and there's also a list by Hawkins, who has I'm trying to remember which book of his it was. It was not the Surrendering book. It was the Power versus Force book. Very valuable book that I can only recommend. I'll talk about that next time. But in regard to vibrations of the different emotions, you might understand already if you're spiritually inclined, because it's very likely when you're watching this kind of show, that you know that everything is vibration, right? Everything is energy. So material is just a different vibration of energy. It's a bit denser than the air and everything else. And we also attract what we send out. So, some people misunderstand the law of attraction, especially when it comes to, manifestation of money or love. They might use affirmations a lot. I'm valued, I'm respected, I'm loved, but they don't really feel it inside. And they still attract whatever they actually feel inside. And that's really the disconnect that most people have, the law of attraction. So that is why it's important to really get into the vibration that you emit. You can talk yourself into a different vibration to a certain extent, but if deep down inside you don't believe what you're actually saying to yourself and the universe and even other people, depending on how much you actually manage to be positive and stay positive. If you don't believe it deep down inside, or even if there are subconscious patterns that you don't even know about, you will simply keep attracting what is deep inside of you. You might have noticed that right now the energies are pretty intense. That is actually one of the reasons why I'm pre-recording this session for today, because to be honest, electric devices around me don't function like with most normal people. And I just wanted to make sure that we have a coherent, at least 20 minutes of video that I can then upload for you on this Monday. Because I'm trying for a regular contribution, a regular episode every Monday. So the energies are pretty intense at the moment, simply because there's the spring equinox coming up next week on the 20th. And there's also full moon, which makes it even more intense. And there's some various astrological constellations and shifts that are going on that I do not understand. Astrology is beyond my capacities, that make it even more interesting. So suffice it to say that I've been pretty down this weekend. It's been a lot of processing going on. A lot of these subconscious energy traumas that were still in my beingness came up to be released and processed. So on Sunday, yesterday, I was pretty much in bed all day. If I wasn't in bed, I was resting. I was preparing some things for the week, obviously, but other than that, I just really honored myself and nurtured myself and rested and gave myself the rest that I needed. And in regard to these vibrations that I would like to talk about today, last time I showed you a short tapping sequence on how to start acknowledging your emotions and bring them to the surface from the subconscious, from the energy inside of you that you're not even aware of, so that they can be released. And during these tumultuous times of high energy influx from the sun, generally on Earth, you might not even want to do that unless you know what you want to release. Just working to get more stuff up might actually be way too exhausting. You might just barely be in a place to function at all. So a very much softer way to deal with whatever's coming up is actually gemstones. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. So there was a really long introduction. I apologize. But you notice that the energies are messing with my head a little as well. So you might notice this little beautiful pendant. This is a seraphinite. And I wanted to talk about various things that help us negotiate a twin flame relationship. This show, WTF, is not just the obvious, WTF twin flame coaching, but it's also actually it stands for Wholesome Twin Flame Coaching. And wholesome means healthy from the inside out with any means possible. And that obviously in my vision of, in my understanding means holistic. So this is why I do include gemstones, not just in my life, but also in this show. So let's start talking about the seraphinite. I'm going to read from my very smart book that explains it in much detail, and then I'll talk about how this can help us negotiate our own emotions and just generally vibrations that affect us, our body, our mind, our soul, and then obviously by extension our twin flame relationship. And even if you don't have one yet, how gemstones can help us to be in a better place. And by better, I'm not trying to be judging, I'm just, in a higher vibrational place, so that we can finally attract the person that we long for. So, seraphinite. The keywords here are self-healing, regeneration, wholeness, and angelic connection. So the aspect of self-healing is really, really important. Sometimes I use the stone to connect with the higher realms. Right now, I'm wearing it for self-healing purposes. It just gives me a kind of strength that in these intense energies is really, really helpful. Because gemstones work in a way that, since they're also vibration, but have encapsulated a particular set of vibration, they can even out or supplement the vibration that we are missing inside of us. This is really how gemstones work. And I know there's a lot of people out there who don't believe in these things, don't believe in gemstones, whatever. But since everything has vibration, you can adjust to your surrounding vibrations. You will notice, let me give you a very simple example. If you surround yourself with really negative, angry people all the time, it's really difficult to stay positive and happy, because we tend to just adjust to our environment. And for the longest time, it was necessary to do so. If we met aggression, we had to defend ourselves in order to survive. That's a basic survival instinct. And energy always tries to even out also. So things always try to get into an equilibrium. Those of us called light workers who make an extended effort to really hold the light no matter what the circumstance, however, we are the ones who face all the other lower vibrations and keep our vibrations as high as possible anyway. And using gemstones actually helps with that. A lot of things help, but gemstones also help to get our own emotions and vibrations back into a more balanced, healthier state. So for light workers or anybody, choosing to stay more positive, to stay vibrationally high, staying away from negative people is one thing. Surrounding yourself with positive people is another thing. And doing whatever else you can, whether it be meditation, to connect with the spirit, treating your body well by exercising or resting, depending on what your body calls for, eating and drinking the right things, or using gemstones to surround yourself with, or essential oils to calm your spirits. All these things are very, very helpful. And I can get into this a little more later, but I want to talk about gemstones in particular today. So the seraphinite works on all of our chakras, all of our energy fields. Sorry. Its element is earth, And on a physical level, it supports cellular health and can be used in spiritual healing to reduce the activity of cancer cells. The cellular health is important in so far right now, and this is why I intuitively reached for the Seraphonite again over the weekend and today, is because with the light influx, it changes our body structure, it changes our cells, our atoms, our molecules to vibrate at a higher frequency, which means our body literally has to change to a certain extent. That means our cells have to change, and that is really exhausting for the body. That's why I slept. I felt like a little bear in hibernation yesterday. I could not wake up. That's why I slept, because the body was literally changing. And a lot of light workers can relate to this. If you talk to them or watch their shows on YouTube or follow them on social media, we can all relate to that. We can relate to watches not working. I haven't worn a watch in years because they just stop immediately. Then they start working again as soon as I take them off, like in a few hours or so. Cell phones mess up. I'm grateful every day when my computer turns on because I've managed to, destroy a couple with my energy. So this is quite normal. So our bodies are changing to a different frequency than the rest of the world usually functions at. And this is why the support of the Seraphonite for cellular health makes the integration of the light much easier and really helps. On an emotional level, it aids the release of toxic emotions, which again, with light coming in, a lot of past trauma, past experiences, past pain, past old belief systems that no longer serve us come to the surface, but are really difficult to deal with sometimes. So with the Seraphonite, the release is smoother, it's easier. And it generally encourages a joyful attitude, which sometimes is really hard to forget to just enjoy life when you feel really crappy. Sorry for my French, but that's just the way it is, isn't it? When you wake up every morning with an anxiety attack because you don't know how to handle all the stuff that comes up, then remembering that, it's a beautiful day. I'm on Earth. There's so many beautiful things out there. There's seagulls flying in front of my window right now, and the clouds paint a different picture every 10 seconds. It is so easy to forget, isn't it? So the Seraphonite helps you remember the joy in all of this. So I'm going to spare you with the chemical setup. You can read on that yourself. But it is interesting that it is found only in the Lake Baikal region of Siberia. So this is really, of the precious stones, it's really a precious one because it's not easily found everywhere. That's why it's also fairly expensive. So it is among the most powerful stones for bringing all the elements of the non-physical bodies into alignment along the I am column of the spinal cord. So those of you who follow Sandra Walter's Unity meditations, when she does those meditations, the Christ expansion, for instance, she has us light up all of our energy discs along our spinal cord, and then finally our whole body, and then we extend out into Earth and the universe and whatnot. So this stone can assist with that as well. It is both centering and energizing, and its beautiful green shadows or shades show how well it is suited to the heart chakra. And of course, a lot of people associate the color pink with the heart chakra, which is correct. The heart chakra is also actually a green. And since I'm not sure you can see that well, but it's a green stone with shades of some white in there. So it looks a bit gray at times, depending on the light. Seraphonite imbues the auric field with the vibrations of wholeness and well-being. See? Perfect for wholesome twin flame coaching. Seraphonite is very evolved and will bring one along rapidly in one's own evolution. It is no mistake that Seraphonite's name derives from the seraphim. The stone resonates strongly with all levels of the angelic domain, even the highest. Those who wish to meet the angels in meditation or dreaming can use the stone to facilitate the necessary attunements. Seraphonite's energies are feminine in tone, and they can help one experience a greater awareness of the divine feminine. So obviously for the feminine part in a relationship, a twin flame relationship, this stone is very helpful to negotiate the interesting dichotomies that we still have in this world of how much do I need to show up with my masculine energies of being linear, straightforward, active, etc., in order to do and accomplish certain things, and how much do I allow my feminine attributes to manifest and help manifest the life that I choose and the relationship that I choose. It's always a give and take, and generally both parts of the relationship, the feminine part and the masculine part, and no matter whether it's a woman or a man, they should try to have both attributes in balance, to just be able to access any attribute, whether it is feminine or masculine, at any given time, depending on what the situation calls for. And it is really this balance that we are striving for within ourselves and also within a twin flame relationship. This is why these relationships can be very, very difficult, because when one is too feminine, the other one too masculine, there will be conflict. If both people are too feminine, there'll also be conflict. So like with every other aspect of this relationship, it's always a call for balance. Okay, so this is why I use this Seraphinite at the moment, but I am also using my ocean drop, as I call it, and it's one of my most cherished stones, really. It's a Larimar. So let me read to you about the Larimar. It's also a very feminine stone. Also very precious, because I always thought it was mined in Madagascar, but apparently I was wrong. I don't know where I read that. But it is actually, according to this little book at least, it's found on the island of Hispaniola in the Caribbean Sea. So again, it's only one spot on Earth where you can actually mine this stone. And what I love about this particular specimen, let me bring this a little bit closer. Can you see how it really looks like an ocean drop, even with the algae on the bottom and the seaweed? Love it. Okay, so the keywords here are calming, cooling, soothing to the emotional body, enhanced communication, feminine power again, and connection with the goddess energies. So since I'm not only the woman in the relationship, but also incorporate or embody the feminine attributes in this lifetime more than the masculine ones, this stone again that's the reason why it's one of my favorite stones. I really cherish the feminine energies of the ocean, the come and go, the up and down, the tumultuous ocean as well as the calm ocean. I think it really embodies feminine energies really well. The ocean does, and so does the stone. So the chakra associated with this one is the third eye and the throat. And the elements are fire and water. Physically, it aids spiritual healing of throat issues and stress-related illness. So in regard to stress-related illness, it again makes sense at the moment that I reached for this stone intuitively, simply because it is very stressful to a certain extent, as a light worker especially, to be dealing with all these energies coming in, to be in a twin flame relationship, and I can just recommend this stone for anybody who wants to figure out or wants to be guided how to negotiate stressful situations in a feminine way by allowing while not being run over by them. There's no reason to be bulldozed in life, but you can still learn to allow, and that's a delicate balance. And it's not an easy balance, let me tell you that one. I personally find it rather challenging, even though I was privileged enough to be born in countries that valued women more than other countries. But still, it is not always as easy. So I find this stone very helpful in a lot of ways. So Larimar is a stone of tremendous benefit to the throat chakra. Again, a lot of women do not necessarily know how to speak out, even for themselves. And that is almost true in all cultures still. We're still in a very masculine world. which is changing, but speaking out as a woman is not always easy, because in my experience and from what I've observed throughout my life, as soon as you do, you are suddenly associated with masculine characteristics, which are not necessarily welcomed if you're a woman, even though without them you would not be able to survive in this masculine patriarchy or patriarchal world. So this contradiction is really what the stressful aspect is about. So speaking out, learning to speak out, speaking from your heart, however, with kindness, you can still be firm, but you don't have to go into aggression just to get your point across. That is something that we are learning, I find. Okay, so it's providing the power of clear communication and the emotional strength and stability that enable one to speak from the heart, just like I just said. It is a stone of feminine power, as I mentioned, allowing one to access the divine feminine within. It supports a state of confident well-being and relaxed knowledge of one's capacities. Relaxed knowledge. So knowing that you have feminine energies, knowing that you have masculine energies, and that utilizing any of them at any given time, depending on how you see fit, is the thing to do. You have access to all of them for a reason. It is perfectly fine to use all of them. And this is what the stone helps us remember. It soothes the emotional body, releasing stress and tension. Larimar can cool hot tempers and guide excess passion into peace. It can be used to diminish the frequency and intensity of hot flashes and is a useful antidote when Kundalini energies are overactive. And again, very often as a person incorporating or embodying the feminine energies, dealing in the masculine world, when feminine energies are suddenly unwelcomed, we very often revert to masculine energy and become aggressive, which usually doesn't help our cause. So with this stone, soothing it a little bit and balancing it, not suppressing it, but balancing it, it can be really helpful. So in meditation, Larimar can help one see and release oneself from unhealthy inner bonds to people or principles which do not serve one's highest good. It opens the pathway to the divine stair of ascension, upon which one leaves behind any obsolete past commitments. So if you're ever in doubt about a twin flame relationship and you meditate with the stone and manage to connect with it closely enough, you may find the answers that you're looking for. Is it a connection that is hindering you, that is in the way of your ascension and your evolution to a higher vibrational being? Or can you see your twin flame as a catalyst that actually propels you onto that staircase of ascension, propels you towards balancing all the energies, towards becoming a higher vibrational being with everything that you do, with every meditation that you do to connect to spirit and manage to release something that stands in your way. Either way, I find meditation with this stone very helpful. So placing Larimar in one's environment facilitates a pleasant, serene atmosphere. And serenity is always good. Coming from a place of inner strength and balance and centeredness is always very, very helpful. So the other stone that I have intuitively worked with over the weekend, excuse me, and you notice when I'm talking about these things and handling my gemstones, I'm apparently moving energy, because when I move energy, I yawn. So when I do healing work, for instance, I yawn all the time. And this does not mean that I'm bored, it's just really I'm moving energy. So this is a berylonite. Let me show you this a little more closely. It's kind of whitish, see-through. It has striations. So the keywords here are light and darkness, divine purpose and joy. And again, I think very fitting for for these times especially, but also, of course, twin flame relationships and soothing whatever emotions are coming up there. So chakras are the heart again, third eye, and the crown. Element is storm. And on a physical level, it supports healing through the alignment with spiritual truth. So again, in these tumultuous times where the energies are coming in and your body is fatigued, or you suddenly have cravings that you need to satisfy because you're nurturing your body, you're listening to what your body needs, whether it's salt or sweets or water, lots of water, anything really. As long as you're in spiritual truth, knowing from the inside out what is really good for you at any given moment to nurture your soul, your body, your mind, that this stone will help you connect with that. So on an emotional level, it aids the release from depression and grief through spiritual insight. This is also very important, so not just for the ascension process, but, well, the twin flame relationship is an ascension process, really, because it pushes you towards realizing certain things and moving everything out of your system that no longer serves you. But it can also, a twin flame relationship can also cause a lot of grief. And Berylonite can help you release that grief so that you can move those emotions, can move towards a higher plane of vibration more and more often. And in this regard, it's really helpful. It enhances clairvoyance on a spiritual level, linking with angels and inner guides. And apparently I needed some guidance here over the weekend, hence the Seraphonite and this and this. They all link you to spirit in a particular way. All right, Berylonite is a stone which sends light to pierce the veil and reveal the way in which the highest good is constantly manifesting, even in the midst of suffering. And isn't that the epitome of a twin flame relationship sometimes? Not always, but sometimes. Remember my title. It can be a remedy to the dark night of the soul, and I can talk about that another time. That's a whole other topic. It strongly activates the third eye chakra, initiating visionary experiences and helping one to develop clairvoyant sight. And again, when you're looking to ascertain whether your relationship really is a twin flame relationship, connecting with spirit through meditation and your third eye, you will get the answer that you're looking for. So no coach, I would never dare tell you, yes, this is your twin flame, this is not your twin flame. But I can intuit. But I think it's more important than that you learn to intuit if somebody's your twin flame or not. And if they are, then you will know. You will simply know. You might not like the fact. You might not trust yourself with the information. You might not trust whoever gave you the information. Depending on who you connect with through spirit, can be a guide, can be an angel, or whoever. But okay, this stone can aid one in seeing the blockages or imbalances which hold one back from full consciousness and realization of one's spiritual destiny. It can provide the validation one needs to believe in the help available from the higher planes, by making it possible for one to see one's guides and angels. And that's also very important, because not just in these crazy times when there's a lot of trauma being flushed out and you really lose hope in things sometimes, because things that seem easy suddenly don't work out because you're just emitting all this crazy energy because you're flashing it all out. Using this stone to connect to spirit in a way, and getting the answers that you need, helps you rely on the fact that everything is in perfect divine order. And this is really, really helpful, especially also in twin flame relationships where they are so tumultuous at times, where we wonder, this is supposed to be a relationship, you're supposed to nurture each other, be there for each other, etc., which is true, but also in a twin flame relationship, you are supposed to push each other towards becoming the highest vibrational being that you can master during this lifetime. And that is freaking uncomfortable. That is very uncomfortable. And you start doubting a lot of things, if not everything. including yourself, your partner, and God. So anything that can help you connect and if not get answers, at least get comfort is really, really helpful. So on deeper levels, Beryllonite also energizes the heart and crown chakras and is a powerful aid to consciousness expansion. So as I said, it'll help you figure out certain things. It'll help you find comfort from the spirit realms that we so easily disconnect from when we are scared, when we are lower vibration, like being scared or being depressed or being angry or having all sorts of things come up, where we usually contract our energy, which is fine in order to keep us safe. But at some point we need to expand again, and so the energy can, fester out, kind of thing. And we can really just incorporate more and more light, and then come from a place of centeredness, calm, love, and light, which is really the purpose of our being here on Earth, especially for light worker at the moment, and in twin flame relationships. And believe me, before you were embodied, before you incarnated in this life, you chose to meet your twin flame. And you might choose differently during your lifetime and decide to split up again because it's too exhausting, too crazy, too difficult, or whatever. Spiritual evolution will not stop. It might just take a different trajectory for a while. But what twin flame relationships are really about is to push each other towards spiritual evolution in a really accelerated manner. And that's why they're so uncomfortable. But that's also why having different gemstones to aid you along the way, to help you, is so very soothing and comforting and just lovely. So when you manage to connect with your gemstones, then it becomes a bit easier to trust the relationship again, because you trust spirit and you trust yourself. And with these little words of wisdom, I'd like to release you back into the wild. Thank you for watching today. Please share this video if you found it informative and helpful, interesting. Again, as usual, pop me questions that I can answer. Otherwise, I'll just imbue you with my wisdom, hoping to light up the world a little bit. Hope to see you again soon, next Monday for sure. Until then, namaste.